Hi, everybody. Well, first of all, it is really nice to be here. It is awesome what we were seeing in the last days. And it is a nice coincidence to have another Colombian by origin talking before me. My name is Rosario Ballesteros-Casas, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of VR Americas. We are a U.S. immersive technologies company expanding the frontier of immersive technologies in commercial applications. Sorry, I have a question. This is, how can I move the slides? This? This is to move, sorry. Okay. Nope, it's not. Green button. Yeah. Thank you. Our ethical self-brain hacking platform is a solution for training and workforce development for all businesses. Especially, we are looking to impact the millennials in the bottom of the pyramid and looking forward to their economical inclusion. No, this is not, okay. I will tell you something. I'm proudly Colombian, as I already told you, and I come from generations of people in education. And basically, my mother, my grandmother, and some other people coming back into the 19th century were related with, or working, or used to work in education and training. And basically, I can see the impact of education in the generations, in the next generations, on how impacting people for the future is a tool to change the world, a way to change their future. When I was a kid, a little time before millennials were kids, I was dreaming to be the president of my country, Colombia. Back then, Colombia was a country with many problems that were merely problems happening in the developing countries. Since then, the world is changing very much. And as my country in that moment was limited in resources and was having difficulties in the environment, I was thinking, no, sorry, but I'm not comfortable with this and the light. Sorry. I can't see what. I was looking to find ways to improve the skills of people. And some years later, I realized that it was not a must to be a president of a country to change, to create a difference. Then also now, it is incredible, but we have all the tools to change the world and impact lives without the need of being a president or being a government, inside of a government. During the last 2 days, we were finding and looking into gadgets and people with talent, like all of you. We have the power to do changes, and let's talk about the example of energy sector and how it is a thing where we can impact lives. There is an increasing adoption of smart grid technology and distributed energy resources. Electric utilities face fast-paced changes in the last years and in the industry. This is in large part due to the rise of distributed energy resources like wind and solar energy. There is also increasing rise of smart grid and smart home devices, leading to bidirectional interactions between the traditional grid and the consumer. These changes demand that the utility and its employees adapt quickly and evolve to become smart utilities entities integrating new features and technology into existing processes. At the same time, the workforce is getting older, and there is an inability to rapidly train new workforce. As 10,000 baby boomers retire every day, there is a disproportionate number of utility workers, like linemen, for example, who are about to leave the workforce compared to those who are qualified to take their roles. The pool of candidates is declining due to the fast pace of technology and of new technology and the use of old training methods for new types of technologies. Let's talk about millennials. It is very difficult to engage millennials in industries that are very traditional, that are not sexy for them. And energy is one of those. Same as telecommunication towers and antennas. All the not the fancy part of it. Same as in agriculture. And these are industries that are generating a lot of jobs, a lot of job positions all over the world. But young people is not getting involved with those jobs. At the same time, the amount of job positions that could be created in these industries are a big challenge for the countries and for the entire world. The technology availability and the need of solutions opened my eyes. And 15 months ago, after I moved from Colombia to New York, I invited very smart people to create VR Americas. In order to use immersive technologies, well, we are VR Americas because 15 months ago we were thinking in VR. Now we are also using AR. And data analytics and some other tricks behind that. But the idea was to use these technologies to do something about the superpowers we received with these technologies and adding our wish to drive positive changes all over the world. And now, how we are changing the world. We selected one specific problem to solve, the workforce development to create and training for jobs in industries like energy. And we decided to create a platform that could be used in many different industries with some things in common. First, worldwide need of young talent, millennials again. Second one, big amount of job positions to be filled. Third, highly standardized positions and roles on those works. Energy sector, telecommunication towers and antennas, all those sectors work same way all over the world, in every city of the world. That way we could scale the way we can train people. And finally, areas where the training costs and risk associated were stopping the sectors to generate new jobs, or where millennials were not motivated to be recruited. Let's say in energy, there is people learning how to de-energize a power plant every day. And there is people dying in the world because of the training process, because they are not understanding the risks before getting into equipment in the field. We started out also with a key assumption, reality is built inside the brain. We don't experience things in a direct way. Let's try something. Can you see this image? I will give you a list of items, and I want you to raise the hand if you can identify some of those. Does any of you identify a giraffe? Please raise your hand if you are identifying a giraffe. Or the sun, a penguin, tiger, zebra, a cloud, an elephant. Is that completely accurate? It is? Well, does it mean that the brain failed? No. The job of the brain is not to be an hyperrealism meter. Basically, what the brain does is it interprets visual signals to make sense of the world. And basically, where there is a hole, the brain completes the things. That's the way we are working with our training process. It could create some efficiencies when we are creating the content, for sure. And also, we are working with the content in the same way that the brain learns since we are kids. Basically, we are using the advantage of neuroplasticity, this effect, and how the brain works to train people in a quicker way, in an easiest way, but also creating the experiences, using how the brain is. Basically, we read and understand the world. In consequence, we learn through filters, our senses, the cultural patterns, the habits we acquired, the environment where we grew up. And basically, this is the way our brain is building neural patterns. Our brain is a black box driving our body with around the same number of neurons than stars in the Milky Way. Hundreds of billions. Our brain is the original XR device. Now, let's talk about our platform, ethical self-brain hacking. Last week, we were talking about, well, brain games. The Latin American brain games was showing how we were doing this. But basically, the way retention in the learning process and how we are expecting the brain to work with us, how we are using the knowledge, what we learn in the real fieldwork is a big part of what is motivating us. Let's come to the why of this name. Ethical. We are taking an advantage over the person who is learning. Why? Because it is that we know how their brain works and how the person could learn in a better and more efficient way in terms of time and less risk. At the same time, we are sharing the personal training data with HR area of the companies. That way, we can track how the person is learning, how the process is improved or not, and how the person is using the tools to learn how to do a task in the fieldwork. Basically, the proof of their hours, the exercise, the training time at home, we are having it, and I will show you how it is implemented in seconds. We are betting also in the individual paced training, what means that we are also helping the person through a very cool tool to create the habits of self-improvement for work training. As many studies are showing, millennials are difficult to engage, but also they will be a big portion of the workforce very soon, and we need to find ways to make them part of the world economy building. Basically, not everybody could go to the university. Not everybody has the skills to be an entrepreneur, and this is a big part of the target we are looking to train. Why self-brain hacking? Because the idea, and this is our favorite component, is that using immersive technologies, we are allowing the people to trick their brain by their own, to use the technology to learn new content and to create neural patterns in the way that they learn, as if they were in the real world. And having the person out of the risks of training and learning in the real equipments. Let's go to a specific example, how it works. In the energy sector, when person is learning today, the person is going to the real machine, and the risk of an electrical shock is very big because the person doesn't know what's each component of the machine. Our app has 4 libraries of content, but the person says, let me show this way. This is how the person accesses, and the person says like 2 points of access, but these are really 4 libraries of data, of information. One is, the first one, this one, is a VR library. It has 360 content, like this, 360 content. That way the person can train at home. When the person is training at home, we are tracking all the time and the heat map of the attention. And then we are integrating it with a layer of tests. That way the person can train like playing, but in a real world, nor in animation. The brain can differentiate the real content with the animated content. Then we are working with real content for training people, and we are training with real content to test the people. Then the other 2 libraries are these, the augmented reality ones. The first one is when HR is receiving the analytics saying that the person is ready to go to a fieldwork, the person is going to a fieldwork and doing some tests. Why we are doing tests before the person is touching the equipment? Basically, to do 2 things. One is to align the perception, to be sure that the perception of the equipment in the 360 VR content is aligned with the perception of the real world when the person is in front of the equipment. That way, we can measure if the person is doing it in a correct way or not, or will be doing it in a correct way or not when touching the equipment. Then the final library is when the person is ready, well, the person goes to the final stage of the training, in person-to-person training. 2 big differences there. One, training a new person in this industry is requiring the best person of the team, dedicated a complete time to the one who is starting to be trained. second difference or big difference, we are tracking the complete process of the person, and we can find the points where the person is not clear on how to do things. And we can support that person in those processes more than in everything. The time to train the people in this methodology is less than half, but the risk is zero until the person is in the fieldwork. And final library is a library of augmented reality content for the regular daily work of the person. That way, the person is using the same tools to work or to be trained. That way, how the brain is connecting the content with the real execution is, is matching. Also, if you want, I have this for the end. Final thing here is that over time, well, this is what I was telling you. Basically, the quality of the content we are creating now is very, very high, because that way the person can perceive the VR content as real world. The brain can be tricked in a correct way. We are now creating the content, but the model and the system, the platform, is ready in very few to have other people creating content and using the platform to distribute training process and content through our platform. The risk is low, the cost is super effective. The interaction between the person and the fieldwork could be 24/7. If the person has any doubt, can study at night, can be trained at home at a different schedule than just being in the fieldwork. And finally, I already told all this. We have some challenges here, and no, I will go back here. Over the time, the vocational training fell out in favor, in many countries, of favor in, because the countries were betting on the university education. But right now, we are finding that there is a lot of people that we need working in the industries that are like energy, same thing, public utilities, agriculture. And these people can't attend universities, but it's really, there is an opportunity to create the jobs. Then at the end, we think that there are many challenges to be solved, like headsets and sound. We are working for bottom of the pyramid, what means that we need more affordable sensors, more affordable devices, but that way we are working for smartphones. And I will not use names of brands, but of course, very affordable solutions for bottom of the pyramid employees. And basically, the consistency and content scalability is a key thing that must be changing very quick. Also, some cameras are already doing pre-stitching. Stitching is one of the things that is not making that quick the process of post-production of the content, but basically, it is changing very soon. And finally, the adoption of these kind of technologies by corporations in traditional sectors and industries is a key point. We need more companies ready to use these technologies, and I think it is not only a personal or corporate interest from our side, but from all of us, because this is a really interesting tool, or these technologies are a really interesting tool to accelerate the pace of many industries. Finally, we could change the world together. We could create inclusion and economy improving by the way of workforce development and training for jobs. Sustainable job generation and job inclusion is not anymore a challenge of the third world, but a global challenge. Let's make it possible together. Thank you. And I don't know if there is any question. I will show I don't know if you please could help me with the video of the demo. It is another file. If you don't have it there, it is in our webpage also. Or if not, we can show you in the real phone after. Well, maybe. No. Nope. Same name, same name than in the presentation, the one in the presentation.
Was it embedded in the presentation?
No, it's another file with the same name. But video file. That's it. As you will see, it is very simple to use, very easy to learn on how to use it. It's a white label brand app. HR is receiving the time frame, the heat map, where the attention is. It is keeping the track of the results of the test. That way you can check if the person is having the same problem every time. And finally, we are matching the dashboard, the analytics dashboard, with the company's, the client's dashboard. This is the AR part. Yeah, with the image recognition for per equipment. Yeah, yeah, yes, it's computer vision. We have a library and we are training it through the users are using it more. That way we have very specific verticals. It's ours, yeah. Some data, of course, we are capturing from different sources, but the way we are processing the analytics is ours. It's proprietary. Same thing, the idea is just to, if you ask me in the long term, we will be in the analytics part and the platform for the distribution. The content creation, we want more people creating. The interaction with test layers, we want more people creating it. And all the other part behind that is where we have the proprietary difference.
A couple questions from the audience. How long does it take to develop one video?
Well, that's a good question. The idea is, well, we are really we designed a very efficient workflow for production and post-production. Right now, we can do this first content we did in some months ago took us to shoot and post-produce 1 week. But we have a team. The idea is to train people with our workflow in the short term. By the way, we will be starting a project in a city in Europe with the city to train people from the suburbs in the pre-production, production, and post-production to be ready to work with us. I mean, it's a way to generate jobs. Thank you.